Good afternoon, everybody. Jermaine, are you on the line?
I am on the line, Jeannie.
Okay, you're going to do the intro.
All right, so I just want to say good afternoon, everybody. This is supposed to be the live mentorship call with Dave Lindahl, but unfortunately, Dave couldn't do the call today. So we got a better alternative, which is Jeannie Olowski. And for those of you who may not know who Jeannie Olowski is, she's actually the one who has raised, what is it, over $150 million for Dave's deal, Jeannie?
Yep, a little higher than that, but yes.
Okay, we'll say 150. So closer to 200 on Dave's deal. It's $200 million on Dave's deal. So if you have any questions today in regards to raising money, setting up deals, setting up structures, setting up carve-outs, Jeannie is actually the one you should be talking to. And for those of you who may not know, she's actually on the live stream today. So she is going to be answering calls live for all of our RE Mentor students. So without further ado, here's Jeannie Olowski.
Hello, everybody. Sorry you get me instead of Dave. I mean, nobody likes to have a substitute, but this was unavoidable. He had a 2:30 appointment, and it was a ways away, so he just could not make it, and we didn't want to hold off on the call. So next month you will get Dave for sure. So let's talk about what's happening. RE Mentor upcoming events. The next multifamily is in Washington, D.C., Virginia area. It is on August 17th, 18th, and 19th. We have the Sacramento Immersion coming up August 10th, 11th, and 12th. And the San Francisco Immersion coming up August 17th, 18th, and 19th. The Advanced Deal Structuring, that's our first advanced deal structuring of its kind. It's going on in Atlanta on August 24th, 25th, and 26th. I will be there, as well as Eric Blackwell and some of our high valued students. Maureen Miles is going to come in, Gail McCarthy that does the field training. We'll have Jimmy Stewart and Steve Firestone there. So it's going to be really great. Everybody will have a good time, and we'll go on a bus tour, and it'll be terrific. And of course, the Ultimate Partnering is coming up September 7th, 8th, and 9th. We hope to see each and every one of you there. It's going to be memorable. We have a lot of exhibitors this year. We have a ton of people, close to 1,000 people that are going to be there. Sugar Ray Leonard is the guest speaker. And it's just going to be an all-around great time. All the old timers and the new timers will be there. So we'll have a lot of fun, and I hope to meet each and every one of you there. And then we're going to follow that up with the Managing the Manager, or the Asset Protection part of it, September 21, 22, and 23. Lori Marie Hines and myself will teach that class. And we hope to have a big crowd there, and it'll be a lot of fun, and you'll learn things that you never thought of before. Okay, operator, do we have any questions at all at this time?
If anyone does have a question, it's *0.
So I'm going to do the high five while we're waiting for people to chime in. The high five for this week is Maurice Villigan. Great guy, very smart. He recently closed on a 60-unit lot, mobile home park, 16 acres. Purchase price was $2.7 million. The owner wanted $3.4, but he is an extremely good negotiator. He found the property through a broker relationship and listened to his coach to tell him to survey the area and build relationships. Current cash flow, $276,000. Property is deeded for an additional 50 lots. Once they add those, it's projected to cash flow $365,000 a year. That's $1,000 a day. Amazing. And they will add these tenants in the next 3 to 4 months. Yoo-hoo for Maurice. We're excited for him.
Great job, Maurice.
Yep. He's a former FBI, I believe. If I'm not mistaken.
He does something he's not allowed to tell us.
Yeah. I know he travels out of the country a lot.
He does something he's not allowed to tell me.
But he's got a winning personality. He's a great guy. He lives in the Maryland area. We really like him.
Really good guy. He'll be at UP 2018 too, so.
Good.
Sorry, this
yes,
is the
Kat?
operator. We do have a question. Do you want to take that now?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, our first question comes from Jean. Go ahead, Jean. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, there we go.
Hi, Jeannie.
Yeah.
Hi, Jean. How are you?
How are you? Good.
I'm good.
Quick question, actually. I just missed the venue for the managing the manager training in September 21st, 22nd,
21,
23rd.
22, and 23. It's in California.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And I have the hotel information. I have the hotel information already.
Okay, yeah. When you say California, hey, California is not small.
No.
I mean San Diego. So, I just wanted to see if it's in LA, if it's in San Francisco or Bay Area.
I'm going to tell you in 1 second.
So I just want
It's
I'm
in
going to
Long
give you
Beach.
the venue. I thought it was in Long Beach.
Oh, Long Beach.
Yeah. Yep. I love Long Beach.
Okay, I understand. We got Long Beach, huh? Great, cool.
Yeah.
Great, I'll be there. Thanks. Appreciate it. That's all.
You're welcome.
And our next question comes from Edwin. Go ahead, Edwin.
Hey, Jeannie, this is Edwin. How are you today?
Well, thank you. And how are you?
Excellent. Real quickly, I'm a new investor and have just completed this workshop with Fairdoon and Jeff this past weekend. I'm going to meet you in Atlanta. I'll be in September up in the Ultimate Partnering, and into September at Managing the Manager with you in California. You said just a moment ago that you had hotel information for Long Beach?
I do. It's at the Renaissance. Mine says the Renaissance Los Angeles Airport. I'm sorry, Jermaine. I think you're mistaken. It's on 9620 Airport Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90045. That's where I have it. Yep. It's at the Renaissance Los Angeles Airport.
Right, and then the other one that's in California on Long Beach, that's for the private money in October.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's my question. I was with my financial planner yesterday, and I was telling her what I'm doing and thinking that I could be able to get some people that she's managing that might be interested in doing business with me. And so she asked me a question. She says, okay, Edwin, this is great. She said, I would be very interested in myself, but what happens if the deal that you do goes bust, belly up? Can I sue you? What's my recourse as an investor? And I had no idea.
Well, first of all, you never know with real estate investments. If it's mismanaged, if your manager is embezzling funds, or if the people boots on the ground are not taking care of the property well, then it could go belly up, and maybe they're not paying the bills and they're not taking care of the residents, so the residents aren't paying the rents. But that's where you come in. You've got to be looking at those reports. If I were you, I would get a camera on your phone so that you can check out the out of area circumference of the building, especially at night. You want to know if there's any riffraff going on. And you've got to manage their money like it was your mom's money. So that is the most important thing. They trust you to take care of their funds and to grow their wealth. And if you take your eye off the ball for a second, it could go belly up. So be careful who you trust. Make sure that you are well aware of the goings on of the property, that they're doing the make-readies properly, that they're not, letting anybody in, that they have a guideline, and especially if somebody comes to look at the property, that they get a guest card on these people. They don't let them come in and leave without getting their contact information for follow-ups, because these people will go to some other property and they will get a guest card and they will get that person that wanted to rent. So if they qualify, if it's qualified traffic that meets your criteria, you got to make sure you have a handle on it. So it's all up to you to babysit that investment. Babysitting means you're watching over your investors, you're making sure the staff is happy, and doing the right thing by your tenants.
So, and then her follow-up question was, so there's, I mean, this is just like, investing in the stock market in the sense that, this is, it could go up, it could go down, it could do whatever, but it's up to me to manage the property from afar, managing the managers. That's why I'm going to that thing in September. Then she said, so if you're in my regular business, I have liability insurance to cover me for whatever. That's not necessary in this real estate venture, is it?
Well, everybody needs some kind of asset protection, but what you're going to have is insurance on the property, which will cover for losses, damages, any, hail, anything like that. But you should
I understand that. But is there some type of liability insurance that I need to carry on myself or on my corporation?
Well, if you're buying a property and it's over $1 million, it's a non-recourse loan. Things happen, and you're not going to be at fault should there be a problem with, something that you can't foresee, like a tornado coming in, anything like that, you're not at fault. That's like an act of God. So if your property manager embezzled funds and took off and you couldn't pay the mortgage, you have to make sure you fly into that area, sit down with them and talk to them about how you can make up, this. But it is a non-recourse loan. So anybody coming into that property, it's non-recourse, so you're not going to be at fault.
Awesome. Well, I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your answer. You cleared that up for me, and so I'll get back to my financial planner and see if we can let her invest with me later on.
So basically, Edwin, just real quick, this is Jermaine again. There's no guarantees, like she said, is just like the stock market. It's up to you to make sure that the investment, nothing bad happens to the investment.
Awesome. Well, Jeannie and Jermaine, I thank y'all for what y'all do, and thank you for answering my question. Y'all have a great day.
Incidentally, Edwin,
yes, ma'am.
if she's willing to share some of her people with you, that's a gold mine. I wouldn't give her name out to anybody.
Oh, no. She's not only is she my financial advisor, she's also a dear friend, and she's just
awesome.
Want to help me with this, and so we're going to see how this goes.
Excellent. Good for you.
Awesome. So I'll see you in a couple of weekends, Jeannie.
You sure will.
Awesome. Take care. Have a good day.
Have a good one.
Too.
Thank you.
So, Jeannie, I was just told that anybody who wants to attend any of the events, make sure you send in a confirmation form. It's really important that we get those confirmation forms. So if you're looking for a confirmation form for any of those events, whether it's business building, managing manager, ultimate partnering, immersion, you can email Jeannie at rementor.com, or you can email Jermaine at Evans, that's EVANS, at rementor.com, or Paul Timmons, which is P Timmons, TIMMINS, at rementor.com, and ask for the confirmation forms, and we'll get them for you.
Okay, especially on the ADS, we have 128 people that said they wanted to come, and there's 52 people that have not confirmed as yet. So those 52 people, we're going to give away your seat if you don't get that in. Got it? Okay, Kat, any other questions?
Yes, we have a question from Tammy. Tammy, go ahead.
Hi, Jeannie and Jermaine. This is Tammy Garza.
Hi,
How are you?
Tammy. We speak again.
Yes. So my question is, if you can prepare us for how to be successful at the Ultimate Partnering, being that we're brand new.
Well, I can tell you what I would do. I would go out and
Okay, that would be great.
I would make at least 1,200 business cards to bring with you. And I would set it up that for every one you give out, you collect one. I would not sit in the same spot all weekend. I would move my seat so that you can do the crowd. We do some speed networking. So you want to make sure you're in different areas so that you can meet different people. I would get on every single vendor that we have there because they give away free things. And I would not hide in my room after hours. People kind of mingle together. Don't be shy. Go to dinner with people you don't know, because it's that one person you don't know that's going to set you free. So be outgoing, as I know you are, but keep yourself open that you're going to meet partnerships that you never thought before. People that have a lot of money or a lot of know-how, and just leave yourself wide open because it's an exciting weekend. There's so many people to meet. There's so many things to do in Boston. Don't be a loner. Be in the mix. Nobody cares if there's 20 people going to dinner and they don't know anybody. You're going to know them by the end of the weekend.
And plus, Tammy, just to let you know, we're having like a ton of events and meetups, especially for VIPs. So, and if you want to know how to be a VIP, you can give Jeannie or myself a call, or Paul Timmons, and we'll be able to help you to let you know exactly what it takes to be a VIP. But we're having a ton of meetups with those VIPs, especially on Thursday night.
Thursday night at 6:30, we'll be doing some pre-registrations, so come in early if you can. And then between 7 and 8, Jeff Lindahl will hold like a little what you can prepare for the weekend. He does that so well, how to network. He's so outgoing, so I know you'll really enjoy that. And you'll meet a lot of people that night too.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we do have another question from Peter. Hold on one second. Peter, go ahead.
Hi, Jeannie. This is Peter Calkins. How are you?
Hey, Peter. I'm
Hello.
fine. How are you? You're very reserved. That's not the Peter I know.
You know I'm always reserved and very quiet and humble.
Oh, yeah. Are you humble?
Yes. But just
you must have taken a different pill today.
Excuse me?
You must have taken a different pill today than the one I know.
Oh, stop that. I was just on the follow-up on Edwin's. If you're in a syndicate, shouldn't the divorce papers be already part of the syndication? So you can dissolve the syndicate because the syndicate is a marriage contract and also a divorce contract if things go bad. So that would, if it depends on, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm under the impression if your syndication lawyer does it correctly, there are methods for the dissolution of the syndicate so the folks can get their money back, or at least a portion of their money back. That's one point
Peter, I don't think you're correct. I don't think you're correct there.
You don't think?
No.
Okay.
I mean, in our syndicates, no way.
Yeah.
You come into that deal,
Okay.
you're in it from beginning to end. You will get your cash
Okay.
flow, you will get your reports, and then when we sell the property, you will get the remaining amount of money you have left in the deal along with profit, and then we say goodbye. So no,
Okay.
you don't get out of a deal. Some syndication.
Well, no. Well, I'll send you what I'm referring to, just so I can
Okay.
pursue this to make sure my thinking is incorrect. And
Okay.
and then a follow up to Tammy. Realize that the happy hour is not a happy hour; it's a happy hours, and that's really where I find you can really meet people closely and you can really get to know them a lot better. It's not like it's a big drinking party. It's not a frat party or a kegger. People are actually very hospitable and very open during the happy hours, and I found those to be the most productive. That's all I wanted to say.
That's awesome. Thank you, Peter. I'll
Thank
see you
you,
in a
Peter.
few weeks.
And again, it's *0 if you have a question.
Well, Jeannie, it's hard to believe that UP 2018 is like it's actually 4 weeks today.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing.
It goes by quick,
it
huh?
really is. Yeah, well, August, this is already the 7th. August has been a blink so far.
I know.
And even though July is one of the longest months, it went by pretty quick. The whole summer is just like flying by. And look at today, it's already 1:21. I feel like I just got here, and I got here at 7:30 this morning, It's just
I think
crazy.
because it's hot.
I haven't been out, so I'm not hot.
No, but I'm saying like the days have been hot, so we've been in the high 80s, low 90s for the past 6 weeks. So that's what's making the summer go by quick. But don't worry, don't worry. When we blink, it'll be winter, and what?
Yeah, then we'll be shoveling snow.
We'll be shoveling snow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoopee.
All right, Kat. Any questions? She may be getting
We have a question from Jose. Sorry, I'm back with you. Jose, go ahead.
Yes, hi, good afternoon, everybody. Hello, Jermaine. Hello, Jeannie. How are you? You look great,
We're
Jeannie, by the
good.
way.
Thank you,
Great.
Jose. You always say the nicest things.
Oh, that's because you deserve it.
Jose, how do I look?
You look well, transparent. I don't see you.
He was supposed to be
Sure, if
sitting
you look like
beside
you sound,
me.
You look great, my friend. So I have actually a couple of questions, or 3 to be exact. Hopefully they will be short for you. I'm in the process of counteracting a new deal and going back and forth with prices. So I'd like to see how should we increase it, because it seems that after listening to all the information and after the boot camp from Dave, I noticed that we can't really increase it in large amounts, just because then we will be doing what we want, which is not really in our favor. But the most important question that I have basically is in terms of the underwriting part. When we have any rehabbing to do, that we know for sure that the property needs some TLC before we make it comfortable, because the current tenants are complaining that things are not done and so forth. So do we put that in closing costs, or do we just not even include it to meet the Trinity calculations? Secondly, so you can answer both at once, is the payroll normally for management. Are we expecting that a management company that takes over the property should have from A to Z taken care of, meaning like cleaning the place and everything? It's not just about collecting money and so forth?
Okay, so I'm going to answer the first question. So any repairs that you want to do on the property, such as updating the units that the tenants are in, maybe you need to pull out the rugs and put in laminate flooring or granite countertops to be comparable with other places in the area. So what you want to do is you want to figure out a magic number, say it's 4,000 a unit, and multiply that figure times how many units need upgrading, and add that into closing costs other, along with 2 months of expenses and a year of CapEx. You want to put those figures in closing costs other, so that when you close the deal and you go to start to do the work, the bank may have given you a list of things they wanted you to get done within the first year. And they may withhold CapEx monies that you've set aside for the property. This money that's in closing costs other is the money you're going to use to get the work done, so that you don't have to come out of pocket or do a capital call with your investors, which is going to make them lose faith with you. You want to make sure the money is on hand, and that's where you're going to put the money. So the second part of your question was about management and payroll. So the management fees are usually under 100 units. They could go from 8. If it was like 75 units, it might be 6%. If it was 50 units, it might be 10%. So the lower the number, the higher the management fees are. And they get paid on collected rents. The payroll is your responsibility. So if you have 100 units, you know for sure that you're going to have a full-time maintenance guy, a full-time manager, and either a part-time or a full-time leasing agent, depending on how many units are vacant. So if you only have 3 or 4 vacancies, the manager can lease up when the leasing agent is not there, so you only have to pay her part-time. No one gets a free apartment, so if they're getting it now, you're going to change that later, because you don't want your staff living on the property. So this is on a 100-unit property. You're going to have 3 people. It might be $900 to $1,000 a door for payroll, and that's your responsibility, because even though the management company is watching over the property, you've got to pay the staff. They're working for you. So you have to have payroll, taxes, and all of that stuff.
Okay. And when it's a very small property, like let's say 10 to 50, and we don't really need somebody to be hired, should we depend on payroll, or should we still hire somebody to do the cleaning and so on?
No, there'd be no payroll, but your contract services is going to be a little bit higher, because you're going to be hiring out people. So you'll have your repairs and maintenance costs anywhere from $300 to $600 a door, and then your contract services would be anywhere from $200 to $400 a door. So contract services should be for those specialized type of things. So if you needed HVAC to come in and, gear up the air conditioners, if you needed, trash pickup, if you need pool repair of any kind, things that you're not paying on a consistent basis, that doesn't go into repairs and maintenance, go into contract services, such as make-readies. Maybe your people go in and they do a overall cleaning, but to make a property ready, you want to really have the carpet shampooed. You don't want somebody going into a new apartment with a dirty carpet. You want to make sure it's shampooed, and that would be contract services, not repairs and maintenance.
Okay, I understand. Very good. Okay, so $200 to $400 on contract services, and the other expense that you were mentioning, I forgot.
Repairs and maintenance is $300 to $600 a door.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much. That helps a million.
You're welcome.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And we do have a question from Jasmine. Hold on. Jasmine, go ahead.
Hi. Can
Hi,
anyone hear me?
Jasmine.
I'm sorry.
We hear
Hi,
you fine.
Jeannie. Hi, Jermaine. How are you guys doing?
Hi,
We're good.
Jasmine. How are you?
Very well. Thank you much for calling here in Chicago. It's a beautiful day today. I just have a couple of questions, a very short one, just to piggyback with the lady earlier named Tammy. She's new with the program. I understand that the ultimate partnering is going to be huge. And besides for our business cards, is there any other suggestions that you guys could let us know what to bring? Can we bring our current deals that we're doing? So that's something that have a conversation. I'm very new to real estate. So I just wanted to know that I'm ready for this event.
So if you're doing deals right now, I would do a one-pager on the deals. So like a little caption, a summary. If you have a credibility kit, something like maybe you started with single family and you moved on to multi and you've closed a couple of deals, you want to put that on your credibility kit. And then you want to bring, you don't have to bring 1,000 of those because you're not going to sit with 1,000 people. But should you meet somebody that you really want to start working with, you want to give them something. But the one pager on your property, I would bring accredited investor forms with you. And if you need one, I can send one to you and then you can modify it for your business. If you'd send me an email, Jeannie@rementor.com, I'll definitely send that
you're
to you.
saved on my email too.
Okay. All right, Jasmine. But so if you're working on a deal, I would definitely bring a one-pager, double-sided, the little bullet points on the property that you can chat up because you want to express interest. And a lot of people are very visual. They don't just listen and get it. They want to see it.
Correct. Right. I am the same way. That's why I'm asking, is it customary to bring something that you can hand it to them instead of me chatting away versus then like, here, this is interesting that I found that might be a good fit, for partnering. But thank you. That's very helpful. My last question is, I've been working with few brokers, and one of the brokers that I actually worked with, when I'm asking him about the T12 and the rent roll so I can actually plug into the underwriting, he has told me that he will not provide those until the NOI. So I'm like, really? I'm actually just curious. Is that common practice among brokers? Because that's what we were not told about that in the class.
Not every broker is like that, but brokers that have gone out on a limb to a new person and they've been let down because the new person went to somebody else, bought the deal, or didn't follow through, so they got discouraged. So now they're playing close to the vest with their information. They're wanting to check you out before they're giving information. How I would get around that is I would find some common ground with them. Find out what they like. Find out if they have a family. Maybe send them a movie ticket if they like the movies, or a little box of golf tees if they like to golf, or something that's going to win them over. So they're going to be looking at you as a solid investor. And if they don't trust that you can close the deal, let them know you have people in your arsenal that can qualify you for the mortgage. So if they are confident that you're coming to them, you're going to buy the deal from them, you're not going to circumvent him, he's going to be much more open to giving you information.
That's great. I mean, so far, the brokers that I've worked with has been very accommodating. It's just that when I really, really like the property, and he's just being difficult. And I'm like, I don't want to respond to the email without making sure that I'm doing the right thing because, again, I'm very new, and I want to make sure that every step is clean and, clear all the expectations. That's why I asked. But thank you very much to you both for all your help.
So Jasmine, you got to put yourself in his shoes. You're just one person reaching out to him, but he's sitting there with this listing and probably getting 100 people calling him on this listing. Who does he pick? He picks the person that made a relationship with him.
Right. It makes sense.
And Jasmine, if you go to the mentorship website, and if you plug in on the search bar how to handle, I know it's proof of funds, but it's similar to that. There's a call that was done, and it'll show you how to handle that.
Okay, will do. I'll do that. I'm actually just going in through those motion right now.
Okay.
But thank you very much. Appreciate you guys' help.
And if you can't find it, let me know, and I'll get it for you.
All right. Okay, thanks, Jermaine.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Okay.
And our next question comes from Daniel. Go ahead, Daniel.
Hi, Jeannie.
Hi.
Hi. We spoke a little bit last Friday, and I called you asking me about having to put it in LOI.
Yep.
And so I did it, and I've talked to a few people about sponsorship and partnering. And they said, so how are you going to calculate the returns for the investors? And I thought, gosh, I'm not entirely sure. So I thought I would ask you.
Okay, it's based on the cash-on-cash return, and it gradually increases as you raise rents, and you always take that Holy Trinity number. And then you figure out what portion of the deal you're carving out for yourself. So if it's a 12% cash on cash, which is the minimum you're going to expect, you're committing to your investors that they're going to get the first 8% return. So that's your starting number. So as you start increasing rents, depending on what the rents are currently, if they're like $100 a door below market rent, the tenants know the minute that you take over that property, they're getting an increase. Now, you can't raise rents $100 right out of the get-go because you'll lose a great deal of tenants. But if you raise it $50 or $40 a door, you've got to factor in what that does to your bottom line and what you're going to gradually increase their share for the next year. So maybe they started at 8 and they can go to 9.5%. And still you're getting your 30-40% of the deal, whichever the carve out is. So you're getting more money as well. So now they're starting out at 8, then they're going to 9.5, and then the following year, you might have lost a few tenants that were paying the lower figure. So now you're going to increase the rents across the board anyways, the regular 3% increase in income. And then you've got some new tenants that are paying the market rent right now. And then maybe you go to 10, and then you're going to get it ready for sale in year 4. So you might stay at 10 or drop down a little bit. And then in year 5, you're going to go up again. So you're going to add those figures across the board. So say it equals, and I'm just throwing it out here, say it equals 50%. And then from what you buy the property for to what you sell it for, you're paying back all the investor money that they had in the deal after you pay the loan on the property, the broker fees, the rest of the money they had in the deal. There's a pot left over. And this is where whatever your carve out was and whatever their carve out is. So it's a 40-60. So you take the 60 and add it to the 50. That's 110 divided by 5. Their annualized rate of return is 22%. Nobody's saying no to 22% annually. So that's how we do it.
Gotcha.
That was a mouthful, wasn't it?
Yeah. I've looked a little bit on the website. Are there like some calls or some other information about that on there?
Well, what you could do is email me and I'll send you 3 or 4 properties that display just what I was talking about.
That would be incredibly helpful. Thank you.
Okay, my pleasure.
And our next question comes from Brandon. Hold on one second. Brandon, go ahead.
All right. Hi, how are you guys?
We're good. How are you, Brandon?
Good. Thanks for taking my call and question. I have an exciting deal that we're under negotiations with a seller, off-market deal, and I'm reaching out for potential partnership. A lot of our capital is tied up in another property and another renovation, so we don't have money to kind of take this down, and wanted to get your recommendation on, who I could ask for partner. The deal will produce around a 26% to 31% return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a great market. The building is fully vacant, so we're getting a great price per door.
The building's vacant?
Hey, Brandon. I don't know if you know, but you can't talk returns. That's against SEC rules and regulations. So, you can't tell us returns or tell anybody about returns because we can't verify them. And so you can talk about the deal, but you can't talk about returns. You can't do that, sir.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, it wouldn't necessarily be a private placement memorandum, so we're looking for a partner.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, that's fine.
But it's completely vacant?
It's completely vacant.
Is it a small property or a bigger property?
It's bigger.
I don't even think you're going to get a loan on it. You're going to have to get a bridge loan.
Yeah, we've already inquired about a bridge loan. What we'd look for in a partner is to put up the 25% down payment, and then the bridge lender will provide all renovation dollars lumped into the loan. So we've already inquired about that.
So are you in the mentorship program?
Yes.
So you could...
Actually, it's expired, but I was for a year.
Okay, because normally you could post up on the website that you're looking for people, but if you're not in it, I don't think there's a way to post it
that's
up.
fine. That's fine. I guess maybe I'd ask for your recommendation on how to locate a partner.
I would be going to meetup groups every single week. I would be finding a real estate investment club nearby. I would be calling Jermaine or myself offline, not on this call, because we're not free to give out people's information on this call unless it's somebody in a service trade area.
Sure.
You know, we can't just say, oh, call Joe Schmo at this number, he has money. We wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no. I get it.
Okay. But the fact that it's vacant is very concerning.
Okay. Well, currently it's not an apartment building. It'd be a conversion from a hotel to apartments.
Mm-hmm.
The zoning is all CBD, central business district, so it wouldn't need to be rezoned.
Yep. So it has some challenges. Well, if you want to call me later, I can give you a list of people that have bought hotels and how they converted them, and maybe they can share with you.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll reach out after the call.
Okay.
Thank you. The only reason I told Brandon is for anybody else who's on the line is that you can't solicit And so you can't tell them people how much returns they're going to get. That's against SEC rules and regulations. So we try to follow the rules around here.
So when I was given the returns, those were made up in my head. Although we have property packages that are pretty close, but I was not soliciting any investors
you weren't soliciting
at all.
Fun. Yep.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's *0 to ask a question.
Okay, so I'll go to some of the questions that were sent in. There are a couple of them that I thought were hard, so I might call upon, if Jeffrey Lindahl is listening, he might answer this. I hope it's coming from Greg Savage from Lawrenceville, Georgia. I hope I'm not being redundant because I'm sure you hear this question a lot. Thank you for doing what you do to assist people like myself in learning and succeeding in real estate investing. My question is, for people that want to build intake channels that identify and source properties to be sold to your network of buyers, do you have a generic spec sheet that details the criteria that the property needs to have? Purchase, cap rate, number of units, percent of occupancy, gross revenue, value play, opportunity? Well, if it were that easy, I'm sure everybody would have one. But
yeah, he's asking basically, that's what it sounds like to me, and you tell me whether or not I'm right or wrong about this. He's asking us whether or not we have a list of people that are looking to buy properties and what are their criteria.
Well, if I did, I'm sorry, Greg, I'm not giving them out. I'll be in the process of raising money very soon, and it's an extensive raise, so I got to keep my things close to the vest. Our next.
The operator. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Kat.
Do you want to take another one from the audience?
Anytime. You interrupt me anytime.
Sorry. Okay, Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Jeannie, this is Manny.
Hi, Manny. How are you?
How are you? Great. How are you?
I'm good. All
right. So I feel like I should know this answer, but I'm getting confused in my head. So when I'm looking at rate returns, cap rates, IRR, all these returns, when we quote them, we're quoting them on an annualized basis over the life of the hold period, correct? It's not. So let me just give you an example. So if we say the return is going to be 20%, it's not 20% over 5 years or 10 years. It's an annualized return. Is that correct?
Yeah.
When we're doing the underwriting?
Yes. So that is your bottom line, which is what I went through with the caller a couple of ones back. But what most people want to know is the amount of money that they can really count on year one, which typically is a preferred rate of return of 8%, because they can't get 8% in a bank. They might get it in the stock market, but they might lose it the following day. So if you're telling them they're going to get an 8% return year one, year two they're going to get 9, year 3 they might get 10, year 4 they might drop back to 9, and year 5 they're going to go to 11. Those 5 numbers give them the average return they can count on in 5 years. Minus, and then you're going to add in the figure. So if you bought the property for $3 million, but you're selling it for $4.5 million, you've been paying down the mortgage for the last 5 years. So you're going to complete the pay down of the mortgage plus the brokerage fees. That's going to leave you with a pot. And in that pot, you've got to pay back any investor's money that they gave you to get the deal closed, that they have remaining in the deal, because that interest payment that you're making is really return of principal first. So that first 50% is the return of the money that they've already given you. Then you take that last part and say you took 40% of the deal and you gave the investors 60%, and there's $1 million left over. Then you're getting 400,000 and the investors are getting 600,000. So say you had 10 investors, they're getting 60,000 plus the 50,000 they've already received, which is 110,000, but they've gotten their money back. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, so we don't talk about 10 years because we don't hold properties that long. Typically, it's 3 to 5 years. But what I would consider that you do is you do the step 1, which is what they're going to start with. So no matter what, they're going to get the first 8% before your team gets a nickel. And they're going to be happy about that.
And our next question comes from Dexter. Dexter, go ahead.
Yes, Jean. This is Dexter Boyer from Georgia.
Hi, Dexter. I used to love that show, Dexter. It was a little gory, but I liked it. Did you watch that? That used to be a series. They used to cut up people.
No, I didn't get to watch that one.
Did you, Jermaine?
I'm pretty young, Jeannie.
Oh, yeah. You probably were too young for that. Go ahead, Dexter.
Well, I've been looking at a lot of properties, and sometimes I see unpriced, and I don't know what the price actually is going to be.
I like those.
What does that mean?
Okay, so the price means to me that the owner has an emotional attachment to the property and is unrealistic, and he won't listen to the broker, so they leave it unpriced, letting you know what the market's going to bear. So that, how I do it, when I see an unpriced deal, I put all the numbers into the underwriting the way they are, the way they give them, and then as long as the Holy Trinity is met, I usually throw in a purchase price depending on the unit. Say it's 100 units, I'll throw in a $5 million purchase price. So after you put in all of your financing and your CapEx and your closing costs other, then I see where my numbers are, and I either reduce the price to get the cash on cash return up, or I raise the price to get the cash on cash down to 12, because what I'm looking for is the Holy Trinity. I don't really care what the price of the property is, so I'm looking to get that Holy Trinity number. So unpriced doesn't scare me. It's just a little extra step, that's all.
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes when we do these numbers, I see like if a property is listed for $2 million, but when we run through the Holy Trinity, we probably got to offer maybe $1.4 million or something like that.
Well, that's pretty good.
Is it normally like that in real life?
Yep, it is. It is. And you know, sometimes if you see that the market rent is $150 below what they're getting, that's a value play. So what I like to play around with is I do the underwriting as it is right now, but I do a second set of underwriting where I can put in the value plays and see where I can take the property. Because if your cash on cash return, if you raise the price up to, say, 1.7, which is more realistic for the owner, and your cash and cash just dropped down to 9, but I can show the investor my second set of underwriting. I'm going to now bill for utilities. I'm going to raise rents on a certain amount of units. I'm going to be able to shave certain figures. They have too many people working on the property, that kind of thing. I'm going to show them what my numbers are going to look like, and the cash on cash return is going to escalate way past the 12% that I'm looking for. So that's the value plays of the property and how I like to do it. How it really is a game. So the owners are throwing out a figure of what they would like. That's their dream figure.
And Dexter, just to let you know, that's basically what the ADS class, the Advanced Deal Structuring class, is all about. Jeannie just basically described it, what is going to be taught at that particular class. So.
Yes, how you make a deal better than what it is right now.
But
you have to have a vision for it. You have to have that vision. You have to think, what can I do to make this better? Well, there's a lot of things you can do if you just check online to your neighboring properties and see the value plays they instituted. I mean, you're going to get a lot of ideas, but just knowing that you can start billing them for their own water. I mean, I have to pay for my water. Why don't they have to pay for their water? So that kind of thing. Or you can get a cable contract. Things like that are real good value plays that produce a lot of income, and you can get a kickback from the cable company.
Right. All right. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dexter.
And our next question comes from Stephanie. Stephanie, go ahead.
Hi, Jeannie. Hi, Jermaine. How are you?
Hi, Stephanie.
Good. How are you?
I'm very well. Very
Good.
well. Very close on the deal. Next time I speak to you guys, I hope to be in contract, so we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. How many units?
It's between 30 and 50.
Good.
In my favorite city. Yeah, so once we go into contract, I'll definitely be happy to tell, because I'll need some additional advice on the next step. But I had a question for you guys, just following up on this concept of value add, because broker's showing me something, and I think it's something that might make sense. But I wanted to know, when you're looking at a deal that basically needs adjustment to just rent, for instance, and you are going to go out and you bid based on a price that takes into consideration raising rents or some other value add components, how soon or how long do you expect the deal to go before you actually achieve the 12% return that's necessary for the whole eternity? Do you have investors or do you seek investors that are willing to wait 3 or 4 years, or is it usually something where within 12 to 18 months you need to show some results?
I was thinking of more like 3 months or 4 months. Not
okay.
A year and a half or 2 years. No, I'm not thinking that long, because patience is a virtue. I'm a very patient person, but when you've got a real estate investor that's invested in other people's properties and he's done very well, and you're telling him it's going to be 18 months before you hit the 12%, he's going to run the other way.
I see. But when you with rent increases, the rent roll, sometimes the leases don't expire for 9 to 12 months. So how do you produce that type of improved results in such a short period of time?
Well, with your value adds, I mean, if they're not paying for utilities right now, say your utility is $1,000 a unit. If you can start billing back for water, and maybe it's an all bills paid property. So, there's a lot of ifs in this question, but utilities is a very expensive proposition. And usually, from what I can see on most of the rent rolls and most of the T12s that I've been looking at, they have too many people working on these properties. You take a 100-unit building and they've got 5 employees, and they're letting these employees live on the premises. there's a value play right there. Those are gone. 100 units, you get 3 people, they're not living on the property. It's just not going to happen. So as far as a 30 to 50 unit, you're not going to have a lot of payroll. You might have a part-time leasing agent depending on the amount of people, amount of units that are vacant. But I mean, I don't think people need to wait 18 months to reach the 12%. You'd have to have somebody that doesn't mind going into a poorly performing property, which is a hard sell, I think. You're better off with a debt partner that you pay 10% on, they get no equity in the deal. That would be your best bet in that regard.
Understood. Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Jeannie, that is it as far as the phone calls for today.
Okay.
We got a ton of things we have to do. This is a great call. You are awesome. You know that?
Jermaine.
You are.
He has to say that. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Some of the questions were really good. Some of them I know like the back of my hand. There was a couple of questions that were sent in that were really challenging. So I am going to personally call those people and answer their questions offline because they were so involved. And I just think people wouldn't have understood my answer. I probably wouldn't have understood my answer because I was sort of all over the place with it. But listen, you guys have a great week. Hopefully the next live stream will be with Dave. He's much prettier to look at than I am. And he's got so many clear vision answers. I'm a ham and egger. He's the real deal. So
definitely. And
I enjoyed spending time with you guys.
I'm sorry, Jeannie.
Go ahead.
I just want to let people know that if they're interested in the VIP option for the UP 2018, to give you, me, or Paul Timmons a call, and we'll break down the VIP. Is really, I mean, there's a lot of good opportunities with the VIP, especially the Thursday night get-together with Jeff Lindahl. So you definitely want to be involved in that, especially if you're looking for deals and want to start networking early, or money you want to start networking early.
And Jeff's going to teach you how to network because nobody networks or parties better than that guy. He's got his whole year lined up on networking. All right, guys, have a great week. Enjoy the rest of the summer if I don't speak to you again, because I think my next call won't be for several weeks.
Yep.
So take care. Bye
Thank
now.
you, guys. Have a good week.